How are you feeling? You're feeling this or you're feeling this. We'll talk about emotions today. Often we get into trouble because we don't know how we are feeling. So if I know how am I feeling, I can understand what the other person is feeling and I can match the two. So there are four things to it. First is understanding my feeling. Second is managing my feeling. Third is understanding others' feeling. And fourth is managing their feeling. So this is what we are going to cover today. But first, we have to understand what are emotions? Where are all these coming in from? So we don't even know. We are not actually taught in school also about emotions. But that is something which is so important in our life. It helps us to have a good time, bad time, or any time which you really want to have. So in our, the Natya Shastra, this was mentioned through rasas, the different emotions. It has been explained. As you know, I've been a dancer. So we have gone through these rasas quite often when we were dancing. But then when I joined corporate, I saw people really don't understand the emotions. They don't respect others' emotion. They don't respect their own emotions. And that's where the conflict happens. That's where all the problem happens with people. So I call myself a human interaction enhancer. So I work with people to improve human interaction, the core of which is emotions. So if you have to, if you can check how am I feeling and pick up, am I feeling this? If I know I'm feeling irritated, I'm driving and the front, there's a car who's just stopped suddenly, I'm like, I throw my anger. And what happens? The other person is actually quite sad. There's something which has happened in his life. Very sad. What is their reaction? He's coming back from hospital. There's something which is happening already. He's devastated. He feels this is too bad. My life is too bad. And he does not react. This is what happens to him. I feel sad. And then what happens? Often he also gets angry, or he just does not speak up. And then what happens? You don't know what is happening in their life. So it's very important to understand your feeling, understand others' feeling, and then manage that feeling. On the other hand, you're coming home, your wife is very happy, your spouse is very happy, but you have a very irritable mood. What will happen? And there will be both of you, different emotions. You'll go through different emotions. What is happening? And it will be complete confusion. I was checking, often I check with people, how are you feeling? They're confused. I'm feeling, I was actually asking, how are you feeling to so many people? And they did not know the feeling. They have not recognized what feeling is. So if we know that, then I can deal with any problems. So imagine there is a project deadline and you're walking towards your team member who has not submitted his part of the job on time, and you're very, very irritated and you're walking towards him. And you see he has a sad face. And you suddenly stop and say, so basically you manage your emotion. and you understand what is the other person is going through, asking, all okay? You don't look usual. And he just, he just opens up, says what is going in his life. And what happens? The bonding happens. So then you can share, okay, this is, the deadline has come. How can I help you? The conversation will change. So if you are able to understand your feeling, manage your feeling, understand the other person's feeling, manage their feeling, you will have a lasting relationship with anyone. Be it at home, be it at work, be it on the road, anywhere. So you will understand a human being much better. Natya Shastra is known as the fifth Veda, where the concept of emotions was first noted. And there were 8 rasas which was described, which is Shringar rasa, Hasya rasa, Karuna rasa, Raudra rasa, Veera rasa, Bhayanaka rasa, Vibhatsa rasa, Adbhuta rasa. Rasas, which was first identified. There were also bhavas, and bhavas were, where the sanchari and the sthai was there. There were love, humor, compassion, horror, heroic, and many others, boldness. So Natya Shastra defined emotions in this way. However, much later, the Western world created emotions, how emotions are affecting human life. One of the first one to really speak about it was Daniel Goleman in his book Emotional Quotient. People realized that EQ is more important than IQ. That's intelligent quotient. People realized, research showed that people with very high IQ was not successful in their workplace. And the reason was because they do not have a high EQ. So over a period of time, EQ or emotions became very, very important. Still, we really need to spread the power of emotions, power of regulating emotions to have a good work life, personal life. It's so important to understand. So as I mentioned, in the Western world, the behavioral science is much more ahead of it. In fact, there is something called a feeling wheel. If you just search the Google with feeling wheel, you will see all the emotions which I was talking about in Natya Shastra has been depicted. It may look like this, with different colors. They have in the center of all the emotions, there is fearfulness, anger, feeling disgusted, sad, happy, surprised, and how they have connected. Being angry means it can be letting down, humiliated. Again, you can understand maybe feeling betrayed. So, if you see this, if the center of the emotion, you move towards it and you identify how you are feeling. This is very important to understand my feeling. So ask yourself, how am I feeling? And stamp it. How am I feeling? That's the first stage. Once you know that, you ask, if I'm feeling angry, what do I want to feel? Maybe happy, maybe peaceful. So what can I do to go there? And then plan on it. I often use the traffic light signal for it. So red meaning all the negative emotions, disgusted, hatred, awful. And green means I am happy, peaceful. And yellow is in between. So this is something which we have worked, I worked with a hospital, cancer hospital, for couple of years. And I was working with a group of nurses. And after our session, they decided to have a traffic light signal of emotions outside their ward. So the nurse, when he enters, after a very busy morning by, feeding the child, beating the child for not studying and all that, and then coming to the ward, she should just stop and check, how am I feeling? Am I feeling red? I'll pause. I'll take a breath. And I will see, you may not jump to green immediately, but I can at least be yellow. And how can you do that? You can take a breath. Send oxygen to your prefrontal cortex and allow it to go down. Because when you are emotionally high, there is an amygdala hijack which has happened. So your thinking brain has shut down. So we need to send oxygen to our prefrontal cortex. So take a breath, work on your emotions and enter the ward. So they started doing it, and there was a great change in everyone. In fact, looking at them, all the accounts department, the pharmacy, everyone started putting in their traffic light signal of emotions. This way, they were able to manage their emotion and manage their day much better. There's also a connection with our hormones, as you all know. When you are angry, cortisol comes out, but when you're happy, oxytocin comes out. So, cortisol is not good for health. So how can I regulate my emotions so that I generate the happy hormones? This will keep you healthy, keep you better. Your stress will be low. So it's all connected, see, and how our ancient wisdom, like Natya Shastra, and how the behavioral science, the Western world, comes in together and helps human being to have a better, happier, peaceful life. So, how are you feeling now? We'll talk more about emotions and how to regulate your emotions to have a more peaceful, happy life in our next session. Till then, happy emotions.